we are continuing on with the 2016 Algebra 1 EOC. We're going to start with problem number 18. It says, which of the following is equivalent to this equation, 3x minus 4y equals 6. Now, what the state of Texas is expecting you to be able to do is basically do this one thing. It wants you to be able to solve for y. How do I know what to solve for y? Because everything says what? Y equals. Okay, so I'm just going to show you by hand, and then we'll show you how you can use technology to do the work for you. Okay? So here we go. To solve for y, we have to get all of the y values by themselves. So, you see how 3x is hanging out over there? You got to get rid of it. How do you? That's right. If it's a positive 3x, you have to do what? You got to take it away, right? If that's a plus, you got to have a minus. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So what happens here? That zeroes out. Yeah, so you got negative 4y is all you have left is equal to, now watch what I do. I like to take this and move it up front. So what am I moving up front? A negative 3x. And what am I moving all in the back right there? A positive 6. And then what are we going to divide everything by? We've got to divide everything by the number in front of the letter y. What is the number technically in front of the letter y? Negative 4. So divide by negative 4 and negative 4 and negative 4. Alright, so here's your final answer by hand. Y equals. Now a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So that cancels to a positive 3/4, right? Those negatives cancel out. And what do we have here? We have a negative 6 over 4, but that fraction can be reduced. Yeah. So the final answer is y equals 3 over 4x minus a 3 over 2. Now, if it asked you for the slope, this isn't, by the way, this isn't slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. If it said, hey, what's the slope of this line? Then the answer would be 3/4. If they said, what's the y-intercept? The y-intercept would be a negative 3 over 2. But it doesn't ask us. It just says, what's the equation? And what's the equation? Answer choice, check. Now, let's say you're like, you know what? I'm going to struggle doing that on testing. Okay, because I'm going to be worried about the test. Well, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to your decimals. You're going to type in and clear this out. Okay? There's some problems over there.
Have you ever heard of now problem?
A what?
Now problem. Like you type in the equation and it'll pull you up, it'll show you how to do the arithmetic and it'll give you the answer.
I used to use one of those.
Yeah. Alright. So right now, you guys see what this decimals does? It types in, if you type in 3x minus 4, oh, I messed up. It's supposed to be what? Equals, not 12, equals 6, right? So I type it in. Now let's type in our correct answer. Y equals 3 divided by 4. I got to hit the right arrow. Then x. And what was it? It was minus what? Minus 3 divided by 2. And look what happens. You see the same line, right? One line graphed over the other line. What does that tell you? It tells you you found the right answer. Okay? So that's all you have to do. Now, let's go on to the next one. Okay? Now, what does it say? It says, this table represents some points on a graph of what type of function? Linear function. Okay? And it says, what is the rate of change of y with respect to x for this function? Whenever you guys see the word rate of change, I want you to understand it's asking you for the slope. Just remember, in y equals, yeah, it's asking for this part. It's asking for the slope. Just remember, what does slope mean? It means, no, not the y-intercept. Slope is the change in y over the change in, by the way, delta, that triangle, means changing. Right? Like the gap in y over the gap in x. So here's a simple way to do it in your head, if you wanted to. Alright? What do you notice?
Yeah, what's that about to say? Like, you can just carry on like that.
Yeah, so you could do this. What, like 12 to a 3, what happened? It went from a 12 to a 3. How much did it go down?
9.
Yeah, it went down 9. Okay? Now this one's actually going up. It went from a negative 2 to a 0. So how much did it go up by? It went up by? Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. 12 minus 9 is 3. This is your change in, not x, change in y. This is your change in x. This side over here, this is the change in y. This side over here is the change in x. What is our slope? The change in y, which is what? Which is answer choice. Now, let me explain to you. What if you get stuck and you forget that?
Calculator.
Let me show you what you can do in the calculator, okay? So right now, go to your calculator, hit STAAR, press Enter. Now, you might have some numbers in your calculator right now. Make sure you don't delete L1 or L2, just delete the numbers. And we're going to type our numbers in. Our numbers were a -2 in the x column, and a 0 in the x column. And then in the y column, your L2 is your y column. No matter what, a 12 and a 3. Okay? L2 represents your what? Those represent your x values. L2 represents your y values. Okay? Now, once you get your table, remember, you only need 2 points to do this. And a line, how many points do you need to create a line? Just 2. So it's STAAR, right arrow, go down to number 4. And when you go over here and you calculate it, I want you to see what it calculates. You see how it says y equals ax plus b? That's the same as y equals mx plus b. The a value in the graphic calculator is your slope. You see what slope it gives you? Negative what? Negative 4.5. So we type it negative 4.5, hit the math button, press enter twice. What do you get? Which is a shame. Okay? Now, I don't know if this will be confusing to you or not. You can kind of tell me. I'll do my guinea pigs here, right? Go to Desmos right here. Type in, we're going to add a table.
So we only have to put in the y overlay, so it's not.
Alright, now in Desmos you can do the same thing. I'm going to type in a -2. Alright, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to type in a 12. Alright, and here I'm going to type in a 0. And I'm going to type in a 3. So here's where you get it. Just hit plus, go to where it says table, and that's how you add the table. Now after you add those two numbers, go to where it says f of x expression. We're going to add an f of x expression. Alright, so the next thing you're going to do is make sure you add where it says add an expression. That's what we did right here. Now this is where I want you to understand. You know that says x1 and that says y1? It's y equals mx plus b, right? That's what we're trying to get to. So here's what I want you to type in. y1. Okay? So do you see what it says? It says the second element of the list, which is what? Our y1. Now this is the part where you gotta remember. See where it says ABC? In ABC, you gotta find this. It's called a tilde, like a tilde. It's a little squiggly line. You gotta hit that. That's the trait in Desmos. You gotta do that. Okay. Then you're gonna type in the letter N, which represents the what? The slope. Okay. Then you can type in x, but you can't do just the x. You actually have to do x1. So you gotta choose the x1.
So you always do it like that?
Yeah. And you gotta put plus a B. So I think this might, I don't know if this is harder for you guys or not, okay? But what you could write now to help you remember is in your Desmos, if you're using Desmos, what do you have to type in? You have to type in this. You might want to write this down. For Desmos, for your function, you got to type in what? y1, that squiggly line, mx1 plus b, and then, and only then, will it give you the parameters. See what the parameters are? What does it say our slope is? Negative 4.5, and what is our y-intercept? 3. Did we get the same thing in our graphing calculator? Yeah. Okay, so either way, do you have to remember some steps either way? Yeah, so you got to choose the way that you feel your brain's going to remember the best. Alright, the one thing I do like about Desmos is it does tell you like your y-intercept and your x-intercept. You can kind of see where they are. The graph pops up perfectly right in front of you. Alright, let's look at number 20. Okay. Alright, number 20. Alright, It says a manager purchased a total of 21 coffee mugs and keychains. Okay? Each coffee mug cost $8.50 and each keychain cost $2.75. If the manager spent a total of $132.50, how many coffee mugs did the manager purchase? Well, guess what? This is where we have to kind of make our X's and Y's, okay? So here's what I want you guys, you have to make a decision. X has to equal something and Y has to equal something, okay? So I'm just gonna say X is gonna be my coffee mug. So write down X equals coffee mugs. And I'm gonna make my Y my keychains. Okay? So write that down, you gotta make a decision, alright? So X is coffee mugs, Y is keychains. Now it said, the very first part, it says there's a total of how many total? So could you guys put X plus Y equals 21. X plus Y equals 21. Now it says each coffee mug costs what? $8.50. I'm going to put 8.5 per each coffee mug plus each keychain costs $2.75. So I'm going to put $2.75 times Y. And what is that a total of? 132.5, right? 132.
See, on these questions, I'm just kind of
Like,
I just kind of work it out, like, oh, multiply like 8.5.
Start plugging numbers in to see
yeah,
which
I'll
one.
just keep multiplying it until I get like, okay, I'll multiply 8.5 by something and see what gets close.
Yeah, that's good.
But then, split it.
Can I show you how to do it in decimals? And you're getting the right idea. By the way,
But it takes a lot longer.
It takes.
It's because I don't know it.
That's okay, but you got the right idea. Because basically, what could X be? Any number between what? 0 and all the way to what? No, 0 to 21. And Y could also be any number what? Between 0 and 21. So what they have to add together to equal 21. So you got the right logic. Now check this out. Look at this. It's going to be kind of cool. Alright, so I'm going to clear this out. I want you to type in X plus Y equals 21. Right, X plus Y equals 21. Press enter. And the other one we're going to type in 8.5X, right? Plus was 2.75Y. And what does that equal a total of? 132.5. Right? Now, do you see anything on that screen right there? Nothing yet, right? Let's zoom out. Oh, look at that. We zoom out, and we zoom back in. Where the two lines cross is my answer. What does that say? Right there. What does it say my X value is? What is my Y value? That's right. So, I'm going to take a picture of it. That right there, that's your X. That right there, that's your Y. What are we solving for? We're solving for the what? The, how many what? Coffee mugs, which is solving for X. That's a what? 13. That's an 8. What's our answer? 13. Now, what you were telling me earlier was that if you like, okay, if I use a 13, then the other number would have to be in 8, right? So watch, if you did this, if you did 8.5 times 13 plus 2.75 times 8, what would that give us? A total of what? 132.5. So that's how you could, you could check it.
But I didn't know how, like I just didn't know what numbers he was going to multiply and be, so I was just going to work up until I got close.
Alright, so there we go. Let's go on to the next problem here. Now, this is kind of tricky. This is dealing with not a linear function. I know it's not dealing with a linear function because we're dealing with an exponential function. Okay? Now, this is something I need you guys to understand with all of these types of exponential functions. There's going to be a new word that I'm going to describe right here, and you can be like, what? Okay, you see that line right there? That line right there on the x-axis? This is what's called. I know it's going to sound like I'm fussing. I'm not. I'm really not. Right? This is called horizontal asymptote. That's what it's called. An asymptote is a boundary in an exponential function. Okay? This graph is going from what we call positive infinity, all right, and it's going down closer and closer and closer and closer into y equals 0. I know it's the x-axis, but y equals 0 on the x-axis. There is a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0. This graph is getting closer and closer and closer to 0. It's just never going to touch it. So an asymptote is a boundary in a graph for all exponential functions. Okay? So if they ask you about an asymptote, this will have a
eventually equal 0.
It can get closer. It approaches. It approaches 0. Okay? But your horizontal asymptote is at y equals 0. Now, here, I want you to understand, in an exponential function, the domain, write this down, the domain for an exponential function will always be all real numbers for the ones you have to worry about. Okay? For your exponential functions, your domain is going to be all real numbers. Okay? Now, your range, just remember, your domain is what happens, what, left to right. The range deals with what happens up to down. Now, how high does the graph get? It's going up to what? Positive infinity. How low does it get? It's down. It's getting close to what? It's getting close to 0. So the range, the answer to this problem says, the range is the set of all real numbers not equal to 0, but they all have to be what? Greater than 0. Okay? That's why the answer is C. If it said the range is the set of all real numbers less than 0, then your graph would look like this. It could look like that. Okay? So that would be like answer choice A. Alright? If it says it's the domain is the set of all real numbers greater than -4, then you wouldn't see an arrow here. You'd see like an open circle. Right? Where it's not including it and it's going to the right. Okay? But the answer to this is going to be C. I know it's kind of tricky because you're dealing with domain and range with exponential functions, but what's one thing I want you to know is in an exponential function, a horizontal asymptote. Okay? Alright. Okay. Now, right here, we have a formula, right? And what does the formula say for number 22? It says the sum of the first n consecutive even numbers can be found by using this. So S equals n squared plus n, where n is greater than what? N is greater than or equal to 2. What is the value of n? So basically, what are we solving for? We're looking for what is the value of n when the sum is 156. So what does my S value have to be? 156. You have to put that at 156. Right? Equals n squared plus n. Okay? Now there's lots of ways to do this. Okay? We could literally take what? All these numbers and what? Plug them in. And whichever one gets us to 156 would be our answer. Okay? Let me show you how you guys can do it in the graphing calculator. So does the graphing calculator have n squares and n's? No, it has x's, right? So here's what I want you to do. Go to the graphing calculator. Hit y equals. I'm going to clear this, all my stuff out here. I want you guys, instead of n squared, type in x squared plus x. Okay? And let's check your table. Check your table. Okay? Now, can you guys just kind of scroll down? Keep scrolling. What are we searching for in our y's when it gets to what number? When it gets to what number? 156. So what am I trying to tell you? What did I find that number to be? 12. Here's why. Check it out. Here's what I was saying you could do to check the answer. You could do 12. You could do 12 and what? Square it plus what? Plus 12. What's 12 squared? 144 plus 12 more gets me to what? 156. So these are all the answers for what? The value of n. So what could you do? You could take this answer and plug it in where? Plug it in here and there. Whichever one gets you to 156 would be your answer. What did I do in the calculator? I hit y equals, instead of n squared plus n, I did x squared plus x. Check my table, at 12 it equaled 156.